So see, sequencing matters, right? Today what we are going to cover is it's a modifier but final keyword. It's important, that's why it will have its own package. Okay, so it's the most commonly asked interview question, and there are other interview questions also where we need to use this keyword. We will see that in when we complete the string. So the final keyword we need to cover with okay. So basic the final keyword is entirely the static and final. Both keywords are completely interview regarding it's like completely interview questions, right? Not a single thing regarding these two keywords are something that cannot be asked in the interview, right? So I'm not going to create any package for the final keyword because everything about the final keyword is an interview question. So first of all, okay, the thing is, and it's way too simple as well. It's not like it's complicated. It's very simple as well. So see what happens with the in later sessions, or especially when we do the designing part, right? While designing, the flow of inheritance in Java is reversed, right? The inheritance in the real life is completely different than the inheritance that happens in the Java, right? Or in any programming language. In real life, the parents mention that okay, you are my child, right? They bring the life into the world. But in computer science, we create a class and then we mention that okay, and then class will mention that okay, you are my parent, right? This thing happens, right? So the one thing is, even we can say, so the interview question would be, so there needs to be a system, right, where I can deny someone. I will say that okay, I'm not going to marry and I will not have any children, right? There needs to be a system, right, in such a way my class can deny to have any child, right? So the answer is I am audible, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the thing is, cause this thing is reversed in but with respect to the real life scenarios. So there was a requirement to make sure that if my class don't want to get inherited by anyone else, then there needs to be something that exists so that I can declare it, right? So for example, if I have a class A, okay, and let's say that it has a method, okay, not PSVM, simple m1 method that we are creating during our entire course, right? A m1 method, right? So this is a question, this is the m1 method, and then there is a class B, right? And the class B is extending class A, right? So now the class B has nothing, right? So I'm creating a runner, and inside the runner what I'm going to do is I will create an object of B, right, and B dot m1, right? What will be the output? A hyphen m1, right? Why? B does not have any methods, right? From where does m1 come? From the parent class, right? But the thing is, if I want to stop the inheritance, if I'll write the final keyword along with my class A, right? Now if I run the code again, then I'm going to get the error, cannot inherit from a final class A, right? The error is here. So the thing is, this is first question. This can be framed in different manner, right? What happens if I use the final keyword at the class level, or how can I ensure that my class cannot get inherited? Name a keyword which can make sure that class gets never inherited. So it can be framed in different manner, right? So this will be with class. If I use with class cannot be inherited. Cool. So this is the thing. I'll just going to make it duplicate and then comment it out, and over here I will mention that class A cannot be inherited. All right, easy, right? Easy, right? Now I need to just remove this as well. No issues, right? Clear, everyone?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for the confirmation. Okay, let's move with the methods, right? Now if I have a class A, all right, and I have a method, m1 method, exact same thing that we have every time, right? So this is a class A and I have a method m1. Now I have another method. Okay, see, this method is important, right? I mean, I will let you know, I mean, what senior developers do, right? When they have to do the low level designing, when we complete the first half, the last part will be this. So let's example, this is a method and there is a class B. Okay, not this. And class B extends A, right? So let's suppose there is a class m2 as well, ooh, method m2, and then my class B extends A, right? So let's say that it has both the methods m1 and m2, B also, and it overrides both of them, right? And then in the runner, these both are overridden methods, right? A and B, m1 and m2. If I write at the rate override, there will not be any error, right? Because they are overriding it, right? And now again, if I'll do b equals to new b, and then b dot m1 and b dot m2, what will be the output? B dot m1 and B dot m2, right? Because due to the concept of overriding, the method will, the object will be going to be chosen in the closest ancestor, right? So it is already inside the object, so it will use it. Now the next thing is, but what if I want, so right now I want my class to get inherited because these are, m1 is a reusable method, right? Oh sorry, m1 can be overridden, but I don't want my m2 method to get overridden. So is, I mean, I can make my class final, right? So no one can inherit it, right? Because you need inheritance to implement the overriding logic, right? But I don't want it. I want only few methods to get inherited, and I don't want, I mean, I want everything to get inherited, but I don't want one method to get overridden, right? I want a hyphen m2 every time someone calls, someone of class A or other than class A tries to call m2, right? So what I can do, I can just set final over here. So now if I try to run, now we will find two things. Overridden method is final, right? Error. From where I'm getting this error? Over here, right? So now this method cannot, I cannot override the method. If I want to remove, if I want my class not to get inherited, I can directly use final keyword on the, at the class level. If I want one of my methods only, or more than one of my methods to never get overridden by the child classes, so I can make that method final. Cool. So now I cannot override this class because overridden method is final. Clear? Okay. Okay. So first thing is, all right. All right. The first thing we have covered is, if we use the final keyword with the class cannot be inherited, right? Another one is, if I use the final keyword with method, the method cannot be overridden. Cool. Now the third thing, okay, double N, I guess, double D, maybe, yes, correct. Cool. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. Now the final thing, right? Variable. So now if I use my final keyword with variable, right? Now I don't need inheritance, right? To use final keyword with a class and with method, I need inheritance concept, right? That's why the course has been sequentially structured. All right, again, let's go over here, private, and let's, okay, now we know what is private protected, right? So we can have it. Okay, so private int And now, uh, oh, let's say age, or let's say company's name, right? Private string company name, right? So the thing is, this is this thing is a company name. Let's suppose it's Zomato, right? And let's make it static as well, right? So it can be used by everyone, right? So what's wrong with this thing is, if I'm using I'm using this as a static keyword, now what I can directly do is I can first print, because it's a static keyword, I can directly access it, right? Okay, I need to make sure which a I'm using. I'm using final variable, and a dot, okay, it's not static, it is static. Okay, it's private. Okay, I need to make it public. Cool. All right, so a dot company name, right? And then I can run it. The output will be Zomato, right? But let's suppose somewhere down the road some intern or someone else come, or someone had a typo, and instead of using it, someone make it Zomato tomato. Someone make it tomato instead of Zomato, right? Then again, if I print a dot company name, after a while it will be tomato, right? Zomato became tomato. So that thing is wrong, right? Because if I know my company name, it should not be. I should not allow anyone to change it, right? So if I want my variable to be final, right, to not get changed anytime, then I need to make it final, right? Now if I try to assign the new value, then it will simply says cannot assign a value to a final variable, right? So I cannot assign the value over here. So that's, so what's final keyword relation with, what's the final keyword relation with variables? It will make variable constant, right? That is, its value cannot be changed. So once Zomato, and how it works internally, it changes the value. Instead of variable, it will change everywhere we are writing the a dot company, it will change it with the value, right? If it's not a variable, if it's Zomato everywhere, how can we change it, right? We cannot change it then, right? So internally it just replaces it, this thing, right, when we compile and gets over it. All right, and another thing is, so this was the final keyword, right? So whenever someone asks, I mean anyhow they can ask you, right, these questions. That one thing could be that, okay, explain the final keyword, explain the use cases of final keyword. Then they can ask, okay, final keyword, can I mean, if I want to, I mean, like I mentioned, if I don't want my class to get inherited, I can use the final keyword at the class level. If I don't want my method to get overridden, I can use the final keyword at the method level. If I want my variable to be act as a constant, and I don't want its value to get changed in the future, then I can use the final keyword with the variable. Cool. It works differently at different level, at class, method, and variable level, right? And you will see in any time in your entire microservice, you will see in your project that the constant will be written as this public static final, right? The sequence usually public static and final. This is how we declare a constant in a class, right? In interface, we will see how we can define a constant in the interface. Otherwise we write a constant in this way. If I want to make it public private, then I can make it private as well. It completely depends on the use case. But a static final we usually provide, and if we use the private, then static does not, I mean, does not make sense, right? We can have it normally as well, but it can make sense in case where different multiple objects can be, I mean, can be created of a single object. So it entirely depends on your use case. All right, so any confusion in this final keyword?
No.
All right, cool. So now